Oops, I'm at the back.
Hey Zwifters, welcome to our second Zwift live ride. Me, Keenan and Robbie McEwen Q&A session. I'm somewhere in the bunch and I look down, I'm doing almost 200 watts, about 190. So if anybody wants to back it off, come with me. You're welcome to back it off. Robbie, you've already launched one attack to see how many people followed you and a couple took the bait.
Yeah, there are about half a dozen who went straight into sprint mode. They were covering the attack. So there's a few Thomas the Ent wannabes in the bunch. In the meantime, I have just sunk my way through the peloton and I'm down the back as well.
Yeah, somebody else has put in there, slow down at the front. I agree. We've got some really class bike riders and athletes in this group. I've seen Simon Thompson is in here from Zwift. He works at Zwift, but Simon was 11th, I think, at the Athens Olympics in triathlon. Top 10 at the Commonwealth Games. Wes Salzberger is in there, silver medalist from the World Championships, under 23. Rode the Tour de France with you in 2010.
Yeah.
So we've got some quality riders in this group. I imagine one question on a lot of people's mind is, what happened to Rowan Dennis? Only Rowan really knows the answer to that, Robbie.
Yeah, well, to put it simply, and not go too deep into it, he's had a bit of a meltdown.
Yeah.
That's also what some of the team from Bahrain Merida are saying, but they're supporting him and hoping he'll be back in the not too distant future, back in love with cycling, back in love with his job. So they're giving him all the support they can, and there's not much we can all do but be supportive of his situation.
I think part of the challenge for Rowan is that cycling found him as opposed to him finding cycling. And you see a guy like Julian Alaphilippe, Peter Sagan, Alejandro Valverde, they look like they're really having fun when they're riding. Rowan, for the last month or so, with the pressure of the tour, it doesn't look like he's been having fun. He came through Talent ID as opposed to discovering cycling through just the love of the sport.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for certain, cycling in general, but definitely the Tour de France, is just too hard if you're not having fun, if you don't love it. Because definitely, and I can tell you firsthand, you can fall out of love with it during the Tour de France. And for a sprinter, that mostly happens in the mountains. But anyway, let's wish all the best to Rowan.
Yeah,
and of course, as the old saying goes, the Tour waits for no man or woman. It always moves on. And what a week it's been between the last rest day and today. It was a very short period in between because the last rest day was on a Tuesday due to the French national holiday, the Bastille Day, falling on a Monday.
I'm on the cobblestones. I thought I'm on a home train. I thought I've got a puncture. But we're on the cobblestones.
Oh, yeah, I'm there now.
How awesome is that? This is the first time I've done Innsbruck on Zwift.
Same.
This is really cool. Shane Miller's with us. I can just see him just in front of me. Shane, go to the front, slow everybody down so they can wait for me and Robbie. This is solid tempo, Robbie.
Well, I'm doing 190 watts at the moment on the cobbles. I'm planning to ease off once I get off them.
Okay. So hit us up with your questions. How about first special comment for the leader of the hashtag Tour Media Medal, George Bennett, when he spoke about having the right to go apeshit on the climb to the top of the Tourmalet because Stevie Kruijswijk is in good form. I loved it.
Yeah. He's always good for a quote, George Bennett. He's riding really well. Yesterday wasn't quite as good as the day before, but that was the case for so many riders. Yesterday's stage, 3 Category 1 climbs at the end of it. On paper, not as hard as the day before because the Tourmalet is an all-category climb, outside category. But with that in the legs, it just makes the next day so much harder. And you see guys just eventually get to the end of their tether and blow like anything. And it was now the first sign from Julian Alaphilippe that it's happening to him.
Yeah. First question for you, Robbie, comes from Ben. We could see Caleb battle to keep up with the Gruppetto. We saw that a bit yesterday. Was there ever a time, Robbie, where you thought you wouldn't make it through the Alps or the Pyrenees? And I know there was, and we're heading there in a few days.
Let me count the times. I run out of fingers. I'm wiggling my toes in my bike shoes. There are so many times where I thought, I will not make it, but I'm going to keep pushing on. And it's all you can do. You don't have it in your hands. The only thing you can do is breathe and pedal, keep going through to the finish, and hope for the best. You've just got to ride at your limit. And that's physically hard, but psychologically really difficult because you hurt whatever pace you're going at. You hurt just laying on the bed. Your legs just hurt all day, all night throughout the second half of the tour. So it's a case of just make sure you push yourself hard enough, and then you're at the mercy of the average speed of the winner and how many percent you get of their time as the time cut. But yes, plenty of times. But
the time that I'm thinking
I made it 11 out of 12.
Yeah.
And the time I didn't was with injury.
Yeah, that was 2007 to 10, where we go in a few days' time. I thought that was one of the rides that summarises your character because you refused to step off.
Yeah, I knew I was outside the time limit that day. I was outside the time limit with approximately 8 kilometres to go. The time limit had already clicked over. It was all uphill. I think the time limit was around 45 minutes that day, and I came in at 1 hour and 8 minutes. And I knew all day long I was going to be outside it, but I just never wanted to step into the broom wagon and pull out of the tour, even though I was injured. And when I was eventually outside the time limit and on my way home, I was actually glad to be out of the race because I was hurting so much, and I need to just recover from the injury. But
we saw Mark Cavendish last year. He was double the time limit when he was eliminated.
Yeah.
When Geraint Thomas won the stage of yellow.
La Rossière,
that's right. I was really impressed with Cav that day.
Yeah, I think you've got to show the character that you're trying to finish. You will finish. You will get there, inside or outside the time limit. So I also, for one, I appreciated how hard he tried that day.
Yeah. This is a race of 21 stages. We saw significantly on stage 10 where Thibaut Pinot lost a chunk of time. I'll come to that in a minute. Jason asked the question, being a sport of marginal gains, how many watts do you think Daniel Oss could save if he got a haircut?
Well, it'll be interesting to see it tested in a wind tunnel because you'll see over the years with aero helmets that they use in the time trials, they've gone from the long extension on the back to a much stubbier looking helmet. Same thing has happened with frame design, and it might actually be the case with his hair that it disrupts the airflow and lets it leave his body more efficiently, breaks up that airflow over his body. So it could actually be an aerodynamic advantage. And if cycling doesn't work out, he can always step into some sort of Slayer or Poison revival band. He's got it covered.
It's definitely an after dark advantage. It's very popular post stage. That stage 10 at the crosswind, Thibaut Pinot lost 1 minute and 40 seconds on the wrong side of a roundabout. If not for that time, he would have been 10 seconds off yellow and 1:30 in front of Geraint Thomas. Again, though, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes. It proves every day counts. Every day.
Yeah, that will probably end up being his biggest time loss in this Tour de France in any stage.
Yeah.
And he really looks like he's coming into his best. He's been good from the start. They rode a good team's time trial as well, FDJ. And a little bit like Julien Alaphilippe, he's been riding aggressively. He was with Alaphilippe on the road to Saint-Etienne, that final attack. It didn't cost him much more energy than those chasing, but been riding certainly very aggressively.
Yeah.
But he's got the pedigree in a Grand Tour. He's finished up there in the past. He's been on the podium at the Tour de France.
Yeah.
He's finished fourth in the Giro d'Italia.
Yep.
So there's no reason to expect that he'll blow up late in this tour, where Julien Alaphilippe doesn't have that pedigree of results in 3-week races racing for GC. One of the reasons being he's never tried. Yeah. He's always had a different agenda, losing time, then getting in breaks, hunting stage wins, polka dot jersey, which he's done very successfully. And he's not done with yet. Yesterday was the first sign that he's getting tired, that he's maybe starting to crack, but others did too. A run was dropped yesterday. And look at it this way. Yesterday, Alaphilippe lost 27 seconds to Geraint Thomas. The day before, he took 30 plus a 6-second time bonus. So yesterday, he lost more than he lost less than he gained the day before.
Yeah. What about Richie Porte? He bounced back really well yesterday.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good ride. He just had to let go of the wheel of Thomas in the run to the line, lost 8 seconds to him. but rode a lot of guys out of the wheel and has now put himself in a position where he's a little bit further behind.
It's 11.
The Jersey. He's moved up classification.
Yeah, he keeps moving forward, and I think he's going to continue to move forward in the Alps.
I think at the moment, seeing what's happened so far with Richie in this race, I think a top 6 is possible, like up to 6th. Yeah. Beyond that, 6th or 7th. Beyond that, the time gap is pretty big.
Jumbo Visma have been the dominant team in terms of numbers. Gee, they've been impressive. Stephen, asking us which Australian climate is most likely
Jack Haig
to fill Richie's shoes.
Couldn't wait.
He retired.
Couldn't wait. Had to blurt it out. Jack Haig.
Yeah, Jack hopefully gets some freedom to go on a breakaway now. We'll get a good look at him. Of the guys in this year's tour, he's
now,
the answer.
I know you're thinking of someone else too.
Ben O'Connor.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's not here at the tour. Ben's only 22, 23. Huge future. Keep a close eye on him, Stephen. He is impressive. Yates was good yesterday, bounced back from that team after the disappointment of Adam the day before.
Yeah, well, he came into the tour to ride for Adam on GC. Already before that, went in a break and won the stage to Bagnier de Bigorre, showing signs that he is still fairly fresh coming out of the Giro.
After a disappointing Giro.
A disappointing Giro. So he was able to switch it off there in the last week.
Yeah.
And that stood him in really good stead for this Tour de France. And so he's now got 2 stages. Yesterday, really impressive, like getting in the break, but then just methodically and systematically breaking it down, pulling it apart, and going on to the win. And his attack to leave Simon Geschke, that gave me goosebumps. That the speed differential was enormous. And even after that, a guy like Landa stopped making inroads on the gap of Simon Yates. But that's to be expected too. I mean, Yates has already won a Grand Tour. He's won the Vuelta. He's won the white jersey in Tour de France before. Yeah. Almost won the Giro last year before exploding. I don't think he's done yet either. I think he can win one in the Alps as well.
He can, absolutely. Dean has asked a question on the tips of the tongues of every French person that loves cycling, even those that don't. Is Pinot going too hard with the last week to come? Well, Thibaut Pinot, he has been brilliant to watch in the Pyrenees.
He's been great and he's been aggressive, but you look at it and you think, is he going too hard? Is it costing him too much energy? Well, look a little bit behind him. At least he's got that sweet taste of victory, and that helps you recover, believe it or not. It's not a scientific thing, it's a psychological thing. And everybody was suffering yesterday. They were all suffering as much as each other. Some just suffer faster.
Yeah. His attacks aren't super calculated, but they are planned to some degree. They're using the young guy, David Goudou, brilliantly, who's been one of the stars.
Yeah.
And they're coaching from his brother, Julien Pinot. They know the numbers. They know what he's capable of. And when he goes, everybody's at their limit anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not as if he's going at a ridiculous moment and wasting energy.
No, he's waiting till everybody's in the red zone. He's in there too, but he can maintain it right up at the top end of that red zone with that, the needle on the tacho just hovering next to the bomb right up the top where you explode. And I love watching entertaining riders.
Yeah.
The watching what's calculating is effective, impressive, a little boring. So I'm loving watching this tour with big attacking moments and riders racing with panache. And even if they blow up and don't make it all the way, I'll still be so impressed with their riding because it's entertained me, and I'm a tough critic.
It is a great addition to the race. Jason with a question with a real Australian focus on it. One for you. Will Michael Matthews now be chasing the green jersey in the last week after that little move that he made yesterday to pick up some points? He's up into third. He's 4 points behind second. I think he's still 100 behind Peter Sagan or thereabouts.
He's about 100 behind Sagan. He'll keep chasing points. He won't be giving it absolutely everything at intermediate sprint points unless he's in a breakaway group.
And Sagan's
or if it's a mountain finish, then he will be giving it everything in those points. But say tomorrow's stage around Nîmes, I think we'll see it go back to the team working for Michael Matthews. But, tomorrow around Nîmes, it's a flattish stage. It looks on paper it could be a sprint stage, but we've already been racing for 2 weeks. and
You think
we're
tomorrow,
tipping breakaway. Yeah.
And for a lot of reasons. Take us through the reasons, because normally we've got Jumbo Visma chasing for Grunewagen. They're working for Kruisbach now.
Yep.
The Koenig, normally for Viviani, they're working for Yellow.
And then we've got Lotto Soudal. They will want to ride, but I think they'll be isolated because the only other team that's been doing some riding has been Bora, but they're riding for Bookman.
Emmanuel Bookman, who's now up to 4th or 5th overall.
And Sagan has such a big lead in green jersey competition. I don't think they're hell bent on getting another sprint stage and happy to wait till Paris.
Yeah.
And Peter will just keep going in breaks. Don't be surprised to see Peter Sagan in the break on the stage around him tomorrow as well.
Michael Matthews in the
Yeah,
break?
also, I think it's going to turn into an all-in brawl.
Tomorrow's going to be good, really good. I don't think it's going to be a simple day for the sprinters either. And if it does get a little windy near the end, perhaps we see the Koenig Quickstep try and force a split to get some time back for Julian Alaphilippe on Thibaut Pinot. Would be a cracking stage. Beautiful town, certainly. Old Roman town. You can see the.
No, I've got a good little group going on here. E. Soper, Hi Clark. I've got Strongy. I've got Jay Harvey, Cardone, Nigaki. So I've got some Japanese names in there. They're just riding past me at the moment. Give them a shout out to get a burst of energy. We've got a good group.
Yeah.
Let's call this the Gruppetto. We are going to make it on time.
Stephen's asked the question to follow up to what we were just talking about. Do you think the Koenig will ride easy and not sprint tomorrow and try to keep their powder dry to assist Julian Alaphilippe? I think yes. But I think they might look for crosswind opportunity at the end if it's there. Yeah,
if there is one, they will try to take advantage of that. But as will Ineos, we've seen them do it before. They did it on the stage 10 to Albi and cost Pinot a minute 40. I think if towards the end of the stage, if, say, Lotto Soudal have ridden all day, they're getting close, the catch is almost on, need some assistance, we may well see one from De Koenig Quickstep be sent up to the front to help them, but only late on. They won't ride all day, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. And I'm tipping that'll be Casper Asgard.
Yep.
Gee, I'm on a pave again. I just felt it come through. I wasn't watching the stream, and I'm back onto the pave. This is awesome.
I can't even see the pave from where I am, so you're way ahead. But I'm riding with the rest day crew.
Okay, here we go, Robbie. This is a big one from Ghent. 3 massive stages to come in the mountains. Is it possible that we might get a winner outside of the current top 6 overall? Top 6 all within 2 and a bit minutes. But you have to wonder whether the hard efforts will catch up with them. Does Valverde have a chance? I think no. He seems to have managed his efforts the most. He doesn't like it over 2,000 metres.
Yeah, I doubt whether Valverde can win. But yes, it is possible that someone outside the top 6 can win the Tour de France.
Landa.
Yeah, and you never know what you're going to get when Landa's in the bunch. He could be off the front by 5 minutes or out the back by 15.
Yes.
You do never know with him, but he's riding well. He was really aggressive yesterday, as was the whole Movistar team. I loved their tactic. How they got riders up the road. Landa went across the 3-up. Team's time trial they did
it was great, wasn't
the chase was fantastic.
They made a mess of the day before.
Yeah,
They didn't have the legs to execute the plan that hatched.
they were close.
I love the way they bounced back.
Yeah, they were close. Landa was 6th on the Tourmalet. They really didn't expect Nairo Quintana to have such a bad day. But, he had another ordinary one yesterday.
Yeah.
Landa is their man 100%. So that'll help light the race up because they've got the focus now on one guy rather than, what we first spoke about when the Tour started, the 3-pronged attack of Movistar, Valverde, Quintana, Landa. So, yes, someone outside the top 6 could possibly win. It's unlikely, but very many unlikely things have already happened in this Tour de France. And I hope it continues.
The less likely thing is that Mikel Landa.
I'm on the cobbles now, so I'm only 2 minutes behind you.
The least likely thing to happen is that Mikel Landa and Nairo Quintana will have a pleasant conversation together.
How about that moment yesterday when Landa came up to the group that Quintana was in, came past him, not even. It was this. And then after he went past, one of those.
Just to make sure.
So didn't talk to him, didn't look at him when he was alongside him. only checked over the shoulder to see if he'd already dropped him.
Phillips asked the question, will Geraint Thomas win the Tour? Can't say no, can't say yes.
Hang on, I'll just pull out the crystal bit on. It's still a bit cloudy, don't know.
He can't ride him off.
Yes,
He's second overall.
Of course he can, but he's not looking dominant enough. You say, yes, he will. But like we just said in the last question, guys within that first 6 can all win it.
Yeah. You'd be silly to say he can't, but you wouldn't put the house on him with a yes either. Good question, though. It's a talking point, obviously, in the UK. Dan, what are your thoughts on Bookman? He doesn't seem to get a lot of media attention. We agree. But in my opinion, one to watch.
In our opinion, too.
Yeah. I think he'll finish 4th in Paris.
Yeah, around that. Is it 4th or 5th?
Yeah, he hasn't done anything wrong.
No, and it'll all just depend if he can continue the solid form he's shown so far, or if he has a bad day. He hasn't had one yet. Many have. I hope for him he doesn't have a bad day, keeps that solid performance up, and if someone has a shocker just up ahead of him, he could get himself onto the podium.
Good for cycling in Germany to have a couple of good young guys. Bookman's only 26, and the last week in the Pyrenees, we've seen a lot of Matthew Camner, who's only 22 years old.
Yeah, he did a good ride yesterday.
Yeah, been really impressed. Bookman got nominated for one of the unsung heroes on the Col de Tourmalet. Because, you know, he's just there.
Yeah.
But doesn't move.
Yep.
A little bit like Cadell early in his career at the Tour.
Well, that's the thing. Well, why don't you attack? Well, when you're at your limit, it's not possible. It's just not the time to put in a show attack and then get yourself dropped.
Who's better at wheelies? Robbie McEwen or Peter Sagan?
I honestly reckon it's fairly even. I think he's got me covered on the no-handed wheelie. I can do it, but just not quite as long. I'm still working on it a bit. So, all right, tip the balance in his favour.
He's better at signing books when he's climbing mountains in the Pyrenees.
Yeah, I've never tried that.
That was awesome.
Never been asked.
Well, you hadn't released your book while you were still riding. He's good for the sport, Peter Sagan.
Yeah, fantastic.
He and Alaphilippe are just a joy to commentate on and watch. All right, next question. Hit us up. Shane Miller, enough of the race. What about the roadside animals quality cow spotting? No llamas, though.
No, I haven't seen any in this tour. I've seen some in other races. Maybe once we get to the Alps in the high mountains, we might start to see some llamas, so no drama.
No drama for spotting llamas and just move along.
Yeah, move along.
Got a good response to your move along dad joke. And some of the ones that came back, that's utterly ridiculous. It was really good fun. You've got to have some lighter moments in commentary, Robbie.
Yeah, well, otherwise we wouldn't make it through. We are in that booth for more than 6 hours a day, talking about the race, tactical situations, talking about Le Chateau, l'Église de Saint-Martin, mostly, because just about every church is called l'Église Saint-Martin, and then you put the town name on the end. Yeah. There's moments we need to amuse ourselves, and sometimes it's just stronger than I am. I see something, I think you should hear the stuff that doesn't come out, that stops when I bite my own tongue.
We need a B-side commentary from Robbie. James, where do we think Richie Port will end up at the end of the tour? I think he'll end up 7th.
Yep, that's me too. Outside top 6, I think he can go from 11th to 7th.
So do I.
If he keeps riding nice and evenly like he has been the last 2 days. Yesterday was a really good showing. He suffered on the Tourmalet, got dropped early there. Said he was suffering just the lack of recovery after a really hard time trial. Some guys really do struggle, and reportedly Geraint Thomas is one of those as well. Really hard time trial, and he finds it difficult the next day. Julian Alaphilippe, he didn't, but then it's prepped in the day after. Everyone's so different.
Today is going to be so important for those mountains to come. Is there an Australian e-racing championship? There is. It was held at the National Championships earlier this year for the first time in Ballarat, where Salzburg was heavily involved in organising it. Wes is on the ride at the moment. I'm sure Wes can post some responses to that question about what's happening next. I know what won't be happening. I won't be riding it. This is hard.
I don't mind having a ride along, but I'm not planning to race at any stage. I just set a new PR.
Good work.
I didn't know I had a former PR. Tell what I could use in this tour is a PA.
Yes.
Someone to go and collect our lunch, someone to make coffee, someone to do the washing.
We get the coffee and the lunch delivered, but we've got to do our own washing. I like your old school washing of the bike kit recently.
So anyone who didn't see that Instagram story, it's use the hair and body gel and wash your bike kit in the sink. Then you throw it into the shower and let the cold water rinse through it for 10 or 15 minutes. You lay it onto a towel, twist it up like a kangaroo tail to wring it out, and then if your room's got a ceiling fan, away you go. You hang it onto the fan and put it on low speed and let it swing around. And that is old school Tour de France washing style.
Yeah. Okay, this is a question from Matt. You're in the schoolyard, school playground. You get to pick first. They're lined up. Simon and Adam Yates. You can only pick one. Who do you pick?
Simon.
Proven winner in a Grand Tour. I'm going Simon, hands down. Sorry, Adam. Adam struggled the last couple of years at those key moments at the Tour.
Yep.
Simon for sure. I'd have Adam as well if I could, though. Pretty handy backup.
Yeah. Adam still gets picked before a lot of others in the lineup if there was anyone else.
I think Adam was really important to Simon winning the Vuelta last year because he rode really cruisy for the first week and a half, nearly 2 weeks. And then the key mountains at the back end, he was right there to help his brother.
Yep.
Janus, what do you think about Wout van Aert's performance before his crash? We can't speak highly enough of him, can we?
Well, if you've watched the YouTube video of Wout van Aert when he's at the SRAM offices, when he was still just a full-time crosser, that was about pronouncing his name, Wout van Aert. But after his performances, so many are saying, wow, van Aert, because it is a huge wow. He has been so good in this Tour de France. Already showed signs in the Dauphiné, sprint win, time trial win, and then third at the Belgian Championship on the road. Won the time trial championship in Belgium as well. But then we expected him to be good in the team's time trial. But that stage went into Albi was phenomenal. He went from so far out, just outside 250 metres to go, with Viviani in his wheel, who came over the top, got his nose in front, and Walt never gave it up. And the throw at the line is what won it for him. You see the difference between the two there. Yeah. And just an awesome athlete. I've got my fingers crossed that he makes 100% recovery because he had a huge gash across the top of his right leg, right through the muscle. So hopefully that's going to heal perfectly, that we see him back at this level because he's got so much more to give.
Okay, Hamish Ross, who has been the most upsetting to see lead the Tour so far? I think we just spoke about him.
Yep. Wout van Aert, easy one. I mean, followed closely by Paddy Bevan. I mean, a lot lower profile, but never got a chance to really do something. Involved in a crash and broke 4 ribs, but
Anzac bias as well from us.
Yeah, also, but
he's great to watch.
He's a real fighter, a real battler, and just so tough because he has 4 broken ribs. He rode through another stage with them, finished it before they decided you got to leave. You got to let this recover because it was doing him no good. He's in a huge amount of pain. So that was also a sad one.
Too tough for his own good. Disappointing for TJ Van Gardner as well with an American slant. But I think TJ was going to struggle anyway.
Yeah.
His best form was left in June at the Dauphiné. He was on the other side, his best form.
How many in your group? Lots.
I've got plenty. Sitting the wheels, being patient.
I'm
waiting for my opportunity to reach the finish line.
Actually, we've got a little group we're about to pick up just in front of us. Might just ride through onto the wheels of this group in front of me. See if I can drag everyone along with me. Come on, whoever's with me, let's just get up to this next group and we'll sit on them.
All right, Kai's asked the question, Robbie, similar to what we just spoke about before. All the conversation is around Alaphilippe, Keenan, Kruijswijk, Thomas, Lander. Let's not forget Bernal. Our thoughts on Bookman, who's just 2 minutes behind. Super strong, super consistent. I think that's where he'll stay, strong and consistent. I don't see him fading. I think he misses the podium I think he finishes 4th in Paris.
Yep, that's one we went through. 4th, I'm with you.
Yeah. It's been good to watch. It's only 26. Rode a solid time trial. Most Germans do, don't they?
Yeah, well, they have a really good background in time trialling, the Germans. It's a really important part of junior cycling there. And they've got very good systems in place at their federation, coaching for time trials. And when you've got the pedigree in German cycling like Tony Martin, it's through junior cycling over the last 10 years. Well, the time trial coaching and the importance of time trialing is just taken another step, gone up another level.
Great role models for the young Germans to come through. A guy like Tony Martin, absolute workhorse. And Bora Hansra, I like that they're no longer just built around Peter Sagan. Where can we cop the Zwift jersey? Where can they get a Zwift jersey?
Don't ask me, I don't know.
Online, I'm guessing. Where's Salzburger? When you finish with this ride, can you answer the question, please, for Dominic?
I'm sure on the Zwift site you can put in an order. They'll be able to help you out.
Laurent, who organises the L'Etape Australia, used to work for ASO, he's on the ride. Good to see you float. No doubt you're cheering for Thibaut Pinot and Julien Alaphilippe with a strong French vice. French guy now living in Sydney for the last couple of years. Doing a great job at L'Etape Australia. They had L'Etape on here yesterday, but it was over at Val Laurent in the Alps. And Frank Schleck rode it. I like that Frank still loves riding his bike enough to do a mass participation event.
All right, well, if you're looking for something, maybe even the tune-up for L'Etape, which is on at the end of November, beginning December. But before that, why don't you come and join me on the Gold Coast for my Grand Fondo on September 22. So if you can remember this, pretty simple, robbiesgrandfondo.com. Check it out. I'd love to have you there. It's a beginning of the Grand Fondo season, really. We get the warm weather earlier than everyone else in Australia.
What's the date?
Actually, we get the warm weather all year. It's always nice. So September 22. And then you'll be on your way to top fitness for the Grand Fondos that come later in the year, like L'Etape.
Go to Zwift.com to get your Zwift jersey. I'll miss your Grand Fondo. It clashes with the Vuelta, I think, or is it the weekend after this one?
No, it's the weekend after the Vuelta and it's the weekend before the Worlds.
Okay. Awesome.
Just check it all out, robbiesgrandfondo.com.
I've heard about it.
We're 37 minutes into the ride. I reckon I've got time for one more. I can throw that in one more time before the end so you don't forget.
You'll snag it in. No doubt. I've got a good group here. Nick Rose, by the looks of it, is in this group. Davidson.
Yeah, pretty good group. There's people attacking out of it. They're trying to get across to your group.
Right. How much research do you do on how to pronounce names? It's a collective effort. Robbie's far better at that than I am, particularly when it comes to seeing a chateau or a church for the first time. I like to go and ask the riders just to confirm. We got caught by surprise with what we thought was Stefan Kung because it's spelled Kung. It's got a couple of characters at the top.
That's called an umlaut.
And it's King.
And people said King is oversimplifying it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Because the umlaut on the U should say, turn it into Kyung.
But I'm just copying how he said it.
But he said, say King. He said it, now we say it.
I'm going with what he's asked for. Mikhail Murku is the same. He asks, if you in English, just go with Michael Morkov. But then he says, this is how you say it in Danish.
He's got the two O's in his name with the slash through them, the stripe through the O's, and that makes it say U. So it's Mikhail Murku. Don't pronounce the V.
Mitchell, who would be your dream team with who is left at the moment? Of the actual teams at the moment, Jumbo Visma are the strongest.
Yeah, they have proven to be the strongest right from the start. They've still got 3 at the pointy end when the pressure's on in the mountains.
More depth even than Ineos this year, which is a first.
Yeah, because they've won the team's time trial. They've won sprints with 3 different riders. And now they've got 3 riders up the front when there's a very small group left in the mountains. So they're the most versatile team. And, of course, with the most stage wins as well.
Yeah. And Lawrence de Plus has been a new recruit for them this year. across from the Koenig Quick Step, ironically. It's been great. Okay, we got any more questions? We're just about done. Well, hopefully you've been enjoying the tour. To wrap it up, Robbie, what's the podium in Paris? Well, I'll have to watch back. I can't remember what you said last week. We'll have to check back because things are changing quickly. I'll give you some thinking music. I'll go with mine.
I'm going Bernal, Pinot, Thomas.
I'm going Pinot.
Oh no, I forgot Crossway.
I'm going Pinot, Bernal, Crossway. You can delete these files if we're wrong, right? That's the beauty of it. It's unpredictable. We don't know.
And we don't mind having a guess either because it is guesswork at the moment. You don't know how people are going to come out the rest day and you don't know when it's going to hit them in the high mountains. Those alpine stages still to come. They are absolutely brutal. And the last one, on the second last day of this tour, to Valter and the final climb, an all-category climb, it is 30 kilometres long. It tops out well above 2,000 metres altitude.
Okay.
The whole tour could be decided to Valter on.
We're going to ride for 4 more minutes, Robbie. We're going to hit the 45-minute marker that we said we would ride. Someone's just popped up with a question. I missed the name. What did we think of the mountain biker who jumped over the peloton? I missed it.
I actually missed it on the day as well. I don't know where we were looking, but I've seen the ones in the past.
Yeah.
I've seen a fairly simple, just straight line jump that, oh, well, yeah, it's pretty spectacular considering what's going underneath him. But then there was another one a year later or so who backflipped over the peloton. People say, oh, it's so dangerous, could crash, take out riders. Yeah, maybe. But I like looking at it still.
Philip Campbell has asked a question, where do you keep your green jerseys framed, Robbie?
At home, basement level media room.
I've seen it. Very cool. Very cool. Right next to the wine cellar, Robbie. Dinner was nice last night.
Oh, didn't we have a good dinner? And
you wanted a good rosé.
The rest day is something we really look forward to because, you know, talking about cycling 6-7 hours a day, all the driving we do, sitting in the car, you know, hundreds of kilometres a day, going from finish to finish in the evening. We got here early yesterday. We're just south of Montpellier, so we made our way down beachside, found a really nice seafood restaurant next to the beach, had a beautiful meal, very good bottle of rosé, and the rest day was off to a great start. You even nailed the reverse park in one.
Be designed for the sprinters into Nîmes. Big stage into Gap with a break, it's another chance. Then those 3 brutal days in the mountains. And that's off to Paris, Robbie.
Yeah, a lot of riders are looking forward to this one being over already. It's been such an aggressive and tough race. There's so much more to come. They're really looking forward to the next 6 days of racing.
And then it's home to prepare for, what is it again?
Robbie'sGrandFondo.com. That's it.
On the
22nd of September. See you there.
Premiership month. Guess what? Carlton is on the march to make it into the top 15 in the AFL. We're off the bottom of the ladder where your sons are languishing.
Well, we're just pushing everybody else up.
You are the foundation. Minute and 15 seconds to go, Robbie.
All right, well, this has been good to spin the legs out. I know you've enjoyed it because this is the only opportunity you get to ride during the Tour de France on the 2 rest days on a stationary trainer. So
I got here an hour early to make a start.
I can understand why you're doing 200 watts while I'm just tickling away at 107. I'm on a downhill though, so I'm just turning the pedals over.
One of my highlights for today has been the cobblestones in Innsbruck. I really thought, how have I got a puncher on a stationary bike?
Are we at the feed zone yet?
Nearly. Lunch is just around the corner. It's 11:45 here local time. And we've got Mother Nature's very, very best bananas to come.
Bananas for lunch.
We might go a bit heavier than that later on.
Hey, I made it. It says I made it to the end.
You're done. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Ride on. No doubt at some point you'll see me and Robbie somewhere on Zwift at home, particularly me in Melbourne if it's raining, making the most of getting some indoor training done. And we really don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the tour. We look forward to it though. See you in Paris.